Welcome to Tough Conversations with David Wood, where play meets depth. We help teams and high-performing leaders like you to master your tough conversations so you succeed in your career and in your life. When we avoid tough conversations, we stay small. Teams stay disengaged, conflicted, and ultimately end up quitting. When we lean in and master our tough conversations, they become the defining moments that literally shape our careers, our relationships, and our lives. So let's dive in and master your next tough conversation so you can be the leader that you would follow. Let's play.
That's exactly what I needed to hear. It's where I needed to head. I just didn't have the tools. I didn't have the words. But that was unbelievably insightful.
Firstly, a big shout out and a thank you to Guy Guri for this wonderful review on iTunes. Listening to these interviews, I feel blown away by the strength and simplicity of the step-by-step model David provides to engage in tough conversations. He says the conversations we avoid set the limits to our world, which on a personal growth level has me feel excited to start expanding my own self-boundaries. He also says that conversations we avoid tie up energy and resources, which really feels accurate to my experience of avoiding others. And I can imagine being true also for any type of business in which people are avoiding one another. I now feel more open and creative than I can remember. Thank you, David, for so much of these wonderful tools. Well, thank you, Guy Guri, for that wonderful review. And if you guys like this episode, there'll be a link at the end where you can leave a review too, and perhaps I'll read that out on a future episode. And now, on with the show. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of Tough Conversations with David Wood. This is another one of the Zoom role plays where participants come and join our free weekly call, and I will help you role play your tough conversations so that you can go out in the world and have it with confidence. This one was awesome. An HR director was asking, how do I tell the CEO that he's coming across as abrasive to 40% of our staff? What a tricky one. What I loved about this was how impacted the HR director seemed by the role play. But I don't want to steal the thunder. You can join our call too. If you'd like to join the free weekly call and bring your tough conversation, I'd love to help you. You can register for free at playforreal.life/Zoom register. That's all one word, playforreal.life/Zoom register. And I'd love to have you join us. All right. Let's jump in to the role play.
He feels he's direct, but he's hurtful. He damages others. And I don't know that there's a way to say that. I haven't found one yet anyway.
I have confidence that by the end of this conversation, you will have found a way.
Oh, good.
What I find really powerful in these situations is to do a role play. Here are the 4 steps that I will attempt to model in doing a tough conversation. Clarify, ask, share, inquire. Case, C-A-S-E. Those are the 4 steps. We've just done the clarify portion already. I went through and kind of prepped and found out what is the hope, what is the fear, whatever. We clarified the issue. Then I will ask, and I have a pretty cool formula for how to ask for the conversation. I'll share it. I'll slip in a request there, and then I'll inquire to see how it lands, and we'll work it out together. Hey, Fred, do you have a minute?
Sure. Will this take long?
My question won't take long. If you have more time, we can talk now, and if not, we can schedule another time.
Okay.
Well, what I'm thinking is there's something that I haven't been saying, and I think the reason I haven't been saying it is because I see you as a sensitive, caring person, and I'm worried that you might feel upset or offended, and I don't want that to happen. And I've decided I do want to bring it up with you because I want the best for you and the company, and my hope is that you might see an opportunity in this and our staff might be happier. So probably take about 10 to 15 minutes. Would now be a good time, or should we schedule another time?
No, I have 10 minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Something's been coming up in your communication that isn't working. And I want to bring it up because I thought you might want to know. And see if there's a way that you could alter it so that you do come across in a way that's well received and powerful and influential and impactful. That'd be my hope out of this conversation. And it might be hard to hear. I get that. I just want to check, are you open to hearing it?
Okay.
Okay.
What is it?
You know how you can be direct with people?
It's important.
I think it's one of your strengths. I think we need people who are willing to say, boom, 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 right? Between the eyes. The thing is, sometimes and often actually, when you're direct, some people take offense.
I'm only doing my job. Somebody has to get the word out, and I feel like we waste a lot of time.
So what I noticed just happened, Fred, is I'm wanting to share an issue that's going on, and you've jumped straight to defense. And I think there'll be a time for that, but could you give me a minute to get out the whole issue, and then we can look at what we can do about it?
Okay.
It's hard for me to bring this up for you. So if you could give me a little bit of space, that'd make it easier.
All right,
thanks. So I understand from your point of view, you're doing the right thing. I'm saying from other people's point of view, including myself, I've experienced it, I've witnessed it, and about 40% of the staff have brought it up in one way or another. And if you like, I can give you an example.
Right, because I can't think of anything that in particular.
Yeah, and that's my point. From your point of view, everything looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
From the company's point of view, big problem. And so I want to address the gap with you.
Okay.
So an example is when in the meeting, when you said, can we keep this short? I have another meeting. I kind of felt like I didn't matter. I kind of felt like the meeting didn't matter to you. And I'm not saying that you meant that, but that's how I felt when you said that. And another way, if you're interested, that I was thinking you could have said it where I might have felt more important is, I'm so under the gun today. I have another meeting. Would it be okay with everyone if we kept this meeting to 20 minutes? And if that's not possible, is it okay with everyone if I bow out at 20 minutes and you guys remain and finish what's there? Would that work for everybody?
It seems like overkill and a waste of time.
Yeah. So that's our problem. That seems like overkill and a waste of time. And my concern is we're going to lose people. So I have an idea and I can throw it out on the table, but I want to ask you, is this something that you're willing to investigate and change and develop a new habit?
I have
or not?
I have to think about it. I have to think about the time that, you know how busy I am. And I don't have a lot of time to invest in things like this. But
right.
I'm up for whatever you have to suggest.
Okay. So I hear that you're busy, and that sounds right. And it'd be hard to find time. If we do a cost benefit analysis, is it going to take you more time to deal with things like this HR complaint that we just had? Because I think there'll be more complaints going forward if you're direct with people and not checking for impact, like not checking for how it lands. You're very transactional, Fred. You're not relational sometimes. And so I think it might take you more time to deal with hiring new people when we lose some key staff, and complaints and the lower productivity because people are they're annoyed. And plus it's taken up a lot of my time because I'm trying to smooth things over. So I'm curious, do you think it might save time to do this, or do you think it would be a time waster? Because I don't want to force this down your throat. I'm just bringing you an issue and I'm looking for a solution.
Well, how long would something like this would take?
I can go and look for a training program that's highly recommended. My guess is it's going to be a minimum of 2 days. You might be able to do it on the weekend.
My wife has said in the past that I'm unaware of certain things, that I need to consider things more. So this might help.
I just got excited. Like, imagine if there is a massive blind spot and you get to actually see that. Imagine how you're going to show up as a leader. Imagine if you are still direct with people, but also sensitive to impact and checking How does that land for you? I want to check. Does that work? If you got something else, say it now. I really want to hear it. Like, if that happens and you actually change a habit, you're already a good CEO. You're going to be a superhuman.
I like it.
All right, great. So I'll go and find a program. And my request is that within the next 2 months, you do that program. Because if we just talk about it, you know what's going to change. Nothing.
Well, I want to be a good leader. It's important to me.
Yeah, I feel absolutely on the same page about that.
Wow. That's very impactful, David. Very impactful. You were very validating. You were extremely validating about, yes, direct is okay. I want you to be direct as long as you realize the impact that it has on others. Becoming a better leader would give him an edge in the business. And so when you could relate it to that, I think that's a huge perspective. That's exactly what I needed to hear. It's where I needed to head. I just didn't have the tools. I didn't have the words. But that was unbelievably insightful.
You've been listening to Tough Conversations with David Wood. Now it's action time. Mastering your tough conversations will have a major impact on your team, your company, and you as a high-performing executive or entrepreneur. If you're ready, request a discovery session with me at playforreal.life so we can transform your team, your company, and you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love you to help me spread this message of tough conversations in a very simple way. Just leave a public review at playforreal.life/podcast. And you may hear me read it out loud and thank you live on a future podcast. Now, let's play.